You need to explain this in great detail so I can tell you why you're wrong.
Come on and visit for any occasion. Don't keep patting down waiting. Comics and conversation. Keep the conversation moving along. Keep reading comics, keep your local store strong. If it's hard, then it's a job for the challengers. Comics and conversation, y'all.
From Challengers Comics and Conversation in Chicago, this is Contest of Challengers, a comics industry business podcast with Patrick Brower and W. Dale Bush.
So we're still doing this, huh?
We are.
All right, I guess I'll take notes.
Okay, thanks.
Speaking of taking notes, okay, can you segue from nothing?
Yep.
We're at the start of the episode, so just the first topic would come out, yet I already segued into it?
You did.
All right. What you are listening to is specifically Contest of Challengers, a comics industry business podcast from Challengers Comics and Conversation with your hosts, Patrick Brower.
And W. Dale Bush.
But generally, what it is a podcast. And I assume that a lot of the people who listen do their own podcasts.
Probably.
So if you are a podcast content creator and you are in Chicago or the Chicago area, next Saturday, the 21st of May, you're making it very hard for me to keep talking.
Sorry. There it goes.
It's entirely Dow's fault. Next Saturday, the 21st of May, it's Chicago Podcast Day. It is a full day of podcast seminars at
a place
somewhere on Knox, 2112 something. Just Google Chicago Podcast Day. Mm-hmm. And it's only $20 for a day full of seminars. And I will be there talking about, well, you'll find out if you go there. I will be, I'll be there. Dow will not be there.
Nope.
And wait, I forgot what I was going to say. The whole idea is put together and presented by our good friend and person you hear twice on this podcast every episode, James Van Osdell, he of the Car Con Carne podcast. Mm-hmm. But it's just basically a way to help people get more out of their podcasting and to make their podcasts a better experience for those listening.
Oh, okay.
Which I know it's surprising that I'm going to be on there.
Yeah, I mean, I can't say it's ever been a goal of mine, but, you know, I can't speak for you.
Sure, but I mean, your goals for this are very different.
Absolutely, yeah.
So Google Chicago Podcast Day. It is out somewhere like, I don't know, Montrose on the Highway-ish, Knox Street, 2112 something or other. I already posted about it on the socials. I just can't look up my phone because my phone is what we use to record, which is...
You'll know you found the location if you can hear ads for Stamps.com or mattress companies, I guess. I don't know who else is advertising on podcasts these days, but...
Oh, Blue Chew.
Blue Chew, sorry. Yeah, Blue Chew. Yeah.
Speaking of advertisers, although we're not ready to segue yet, but I want to drop that in.
Let's do it.
I just say, I promise you I will be at this podcast day, even though I'm not listed as one of the speakers. And the person who I am on a panel with is. Okay. But anyway, I'll be there.
You're the special guest then. You're the surprise special guest.
Well, it's not that much surprise, but I'm telling you about it. So, we had a sponsor recently, Dad. You remember that?
I do.
What do you remember?
Remember that we had a sponsor? They were Manscaped, I think?
Sure. And what was their goal out of this?
For us to help them sell products?
How many products?
I don't remember.
Oh, man. You are so uninvolved in this whole thing.
No.
Well, all right. You know what?
I was, as always, happy to support it. That was the extent of my involvement.
Happy to support the podcast?
No, your various initiatives.
My initiatives?
Yes.
I see. So you got nothing out of this?
No, I think the same thing you got out of it.
For way less work.
Yeah.
Well, we officially did not hit our target goal.
Yeah.
Surprise. However, we did move some units.
Okay.
So anybody who listened to this podcast and
got a good deal,
went to the Manscaped website and used our discount code and got some stuff, we really hope you did it for the love of the product or the potential love of the product.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, don't do it for us. Do it for you. And if you did
0 to 1 less than our threshold basically counts for the same thing, and it means that we got whatever stuff they gave us promotionally without necessarily needing to do anything. So I hope the people who, if you did use the code and you did get products from them, please don't have done it for us. please have done it because you actually needed the product and you're going to get some use out of it.
But also, let us know if you like it.
Yeah, sure.
Like, we don't want to have steered you wrong.
No, never.
But we're curious if it worked. And the Manscaped people were like, hey, we could give you a new copy and you can keep running the ads until you hit the number. And I'm like, nah.
No.
We're good.
It was a trial.
We accidentally went a week longer than we thought we were going to. We didn't get to the number they wanted. We didn't think we were going to.
No.
So, yeah, we're happy to try it.
Yeah.
That being said, Chipotle, if you're listening.
Absolutely. They can give me whatever copy they want. I'll do a whole episode of just reading their copy. I don't care.
Dal will work for that one.
I'll do it.
They'll give you a giant burrito bowl pillow. It's just gonna be Chipotle merch.
I think I've already earned all that in points, so they're gonna have to do a little bit better than that.
A gold burrito bowl pillow?
No thanks.
Gold's a soft metal, Dal, so it'll be a very comfortable pillow.
It's true. I just feel like it'd get too cold in the winter.
I don't know. I feel like the attitude you present on this podcast and the way you're coming off now versus when we started this podcast.
Okay.
You got a big head, Dal.
I did. People are saying it. Everyone's talking about it.
Yeah.
It's the talk of the internet.
You've gotten big-headed since this all started.
Yep.
What do you have to say to that?
I'll allow it. If that's someone's viewpoint, yours or some nameless internet person's, some pseudonymical internet person's view, then that's fine. It's not for me to agree or disagree with it.
We got a Google review, a 3-star Google review that said, it's a good place to chill, a good place to hang out and chill, but the owners have gotten kind of big-headed since they opened. And, yeah, I mean, on the one hand, we want to still be humble and grateful for the people that shop with us, but also, we've won a lot of awards.
See,
I
would maybe reframe it. I can see how from the outside it would appear big-headed. I'm going to push back a little bit on that phrasing, mostly because I don't think what we do is that good, and I don't think what we are as a store is that interesting. Frequently, when people will give us praise, my natural reaction isn't just to be humble; it's to be like, "No, what?"
You need to explain this in great detail so I can tell you why you're wrong.
I don't see it. What I think could appear to somebody else as big-headed is simply we've done this for so long that we don't feel like we need to present a specific kind of attitude as store owners. Like
trust me, I present a very specific attitude as a store owner.
We are far more likely to be brutally honest about the aspects of running a store because we've been doing it so long. We don't feel like we need to sugarcoat it.
It's funny you say that sugar-coated is exactly what I would have used.
Sure. Interactions that we had with people over the years that have become disappointingly routine are things that we're probably more likely to just be like, no, I don't want to do that. Or no, I don't want to have this conversation. Or no, I don't want to bend over backwards for this person. That I would rather spend that energy on somebody who is a more regular customer or is less demanding or is somebody who I don't feel like is taking advantage of my hospitality or whatever.
I'm going to pump the volume up so hard on the less demanding part of that sentence.
Okay.
I won't remember where it was. I just thought about having done it.
So, yeah, I mean, like, this person might have had an experience where we came off as thinking we were, more important than we were or more renowned than we were. And it's not that. It's honestly never that. It's just I'm at an age where I don't care a lot what people think.
Well, what I'm more curious about is what the situation was in which big-headedness came across. Because, honestly, at any given point when you interact with either one of us, big-headed is not something we project. I don't think,
I hope not. Well, that's the thing. It's really up to the viewer. Like,
Right.
this person thought it was big-headed, which is why I can't really push back against it. I can
Well,
be
sure,
like,
but I mean,
well,
like, what in any other retail situation? Let's say you're shopping somewhere you like to shop. You can pick the location. What would someone have to do to you to make you think, well, they're big-headed? Like, I always use Home Depot as my excuses, as my examples, my excuse, and I literally like to use me as a Home Depot shopper as a comparison to people as Challenger shoppers, because half the time I don't know where something is.
Sure.
Half the time it's hard to flag someone down, which isn't the case in Challengers. But
No, we have a much smaller footprint than a Home Depot.
there's nothing that a Home Depot helper could do that would make me think that they're egotistical, or like, even if I'm like, oh, I didn't know I needed this left-handed flange for this toilet gasket, and if they were to say, you didn't,
Even that,
maybe,
like, but that's not what you would call big-headed. It would just be like rude. Or
yeah,
something.
but
Like,
also that never happens. Like, big-headed to me is like, oh, we don't need your business.
see, that's the thing. Like, when I think big-headed, the only thing that would really come to mind would be like if you were having a discussion with one customer, and then this customer came up, and you were brief with them to get back to your conversation with the first customer.
Okay.
That could come off as big-headed.
Okay.
Like, I could see that happening. Like, but it's mostly just like if I'm answering a question for one customer and another customer needs help, the second person is going to get a very short thing because I'm still interacting with the first person.
Right. It's if you're just talking about last night's baseball game,
Right.
it's a different story. But if you're still helping them,
Yeah, because I mean, this is maybe a surprise to some people. Talking to customers is work. It is part of our job.
it's in there. It's
customer
conversation.
service.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's not something that maybe a lot of people are aware of, but, you know, our job goes beyond
I mean, for
just
example,
unpacking
like,
boxes or straightening shelves. It's also conversing with the people who come in to give them a good experience.
Huh.
Kind of invisible sometimes, but we're definitely doing it.
That's true. I mean, basically, if we are interacting with you in any way, that is part of our job.
Yeah, and I don't mean that to sound in like a, like, this is work for me, but it's literally...
Oh,
like,
it's so big-headed of you to say that.
it's literally part of my job. Like, if I'm not doing that, I'm kind of not doing my job very well.
The one thing I feel bad about sometimes is if you get a phone call and someone's like, hey, do you still have, this new book for this week?
Sure.
So you're like, hold on, let me go check. And you're walking to the new release wall, and someone stops you and says, can you show me where Saga is? Or like, that's easy. But it's like, yeah, what Green Lantern book comes up? Like, you got to go, excuse me, I'm actually on the phone.
Sure.
When you're not on the phone, you're holding the phone, you're walking.
Yeah, I feel like that wouldn't necessarily come off as big-headed.
No, I know. I just feel like
Oh.
that's a point where someone asks the questions. I'm like, you're going to have to wait. I'm sorry,
Sure.
I can't help you.
Yeah, I mean, there's only so many people working at Challengers at any given time, and if more people are asking questions than there are people working there, like, there's
Sure.
going to have to be a kind of a queue of a sort.
Yeah.
We're like, we will get to you as soon as we've helped this person.
This is a thing that has come up often, and it's a thing I don't like doing. I don't feel it necessary for me to explain the alphabet to people, especially adults.
That's true.
Now, however, you will still jump up and
I will.
lead them by the hand
I will.
to the letter S on a shelf.
I will. And I will wait for you to do your thing first, instead of just jumping in, because I know that it's important to you to let them
No, it's
do
not.
it themselves.
It's not.
It's not?
And
I
I
always
feel
felt like it was.
like when you do it, you're deliberately showing me up.
I'm not. I'm really not.
Because it happened this Wednesday.
It did. It happens a lot.
And it was the most, it's the simplest thing. Today there was a younger person in who said, can you show me where the Spider-Man comics are? And I'm like, yeah, they're right on that wall that says this is comics.
Right.
And it's going to be on the letter S. It's all alphabetical, so it's by characters. You just want to go down to the S's. He walks right to the first panel where it says A and says, here? I'm not helping you.
Incorrect. Yeah. So
If you don't know your alphabet, why are you reading?
this is a
No,
situation.
I'm sorry. What I meant was, how are you
Ow.
reading?
Just pictures. Just looking at pictures. This is a situation where I will kind of always do the opposite of you in something, and I don't think. I don't ever mean for it to be a thing of like, this is how challengers should do it. You and I both have an equal say in how the store is run and presents itself.
Right, but if I say you should smack people in the face as soon as they walk in, you could say that is not the Challenger's way.
That would be a different conversation. This is something where it's, you want to do it one way, I want to do it another, and I think it's fine for each of us to do it our own way. Like, I wouldn't chide you for not doing it on a Friday if I'm not there or something. It's fine. You run the store however you want. I believe that you know what you're doing in that you've done it for longer than I have. Simultaneously, if it's something that I will do and you don't have to, I think it's okay for me to do that.
Also, the way you jump to your feet and lengthen your stride is you just mocking my inability to walk. So thank you for that.
Yeah, I definitely have a very particular gait that I do.
Now that you've developed over the last 2 years.
Yeah, it's the main the giveaway in it is that every fourth step I will stop and look over my shoulder so that I know that you're watching
And
me
click
do
your
it.
heels. I don't like you clicking, like jumping up and clicking your heels.
It's really hard to do with the Converse because they don't click
They
really
don't
well.
click, but you still, I mean,
I make the
there's
click noise with my
contact.
mouth.
There's still contact.
I do it, yeah.
Someone called today and asked if we had a specific manga. And I said, I'll go check on that shelf for you, but future reference, everything we have in store is available on the website. You can always go to challengerscomics.com.
I do that on the phone.
So I go over, I'm like, yeah, we actually have a couple copies. Great, I'll be right in. Half hour later, the person steps 1 foot in the door and says, yeah, I'm looking for, this manga.
Right.
I just want to say, no, you're not. You want me to get it for you. You're not looking. You didn't go anywhere in the store.
No.
And I'm like, yeah, it's right around the corner of the manga section, alphabetical. But then Gina walked him over.
Sure.
And the reason I was annoyed by the whole thing, former club member, someone who used to shop at the store regularly.
Oh.
You know the layout of the store. It's not a trick. This isn't your first time in. This is someone who's been in the store
Sure.
regularly.
Wow.
Go take a look.
Wow.
I don't walk into Home Depot and say, I need a 1/4-inch hex bolts in quantities of 5.
You don't say it to the greeter?
Hand them to me. Put it in my hands.
You don't say it to the person running the hot dog cart?
You know what I do? I use their signs,
Yeah.
and I go to where they have the loose hardware, and then I look.
Yeah, with your eyeballs. Two
Yeah.
eyeballs.
And then if I can't find them, I will ask for help.
Okay.
You know how often I ask for help at Home Depot? Very rarely.
Okay.
Because I find it myself. You know why? Because things are organized.
I usually have, unless it's something I've bought there before, I generally have to ask for help. If it's a thing I'm getting the first time, because I am not as knowledgeable about...
Yeah, this is not
Home
a
repair.
judgment. Home Depot is way more of a me store than a you store.
Oh, definitely.
The Apple store is way more of a you
Yeah.
store than me store.
If we went to Best Buy, I would probably do better than you would. I think we would do equally well.
Yeah, you'd be better at finding the exact thing you
Yes.
wanted.
Yes.
I could still say, ink cartridges over
Right.
there.
Yeah, of course.
But you will know. Oh, you want a 4 terabyte hard drive? Those are going to be in this section,
Sure.
not over in the lowly
Uh-huh.
2 terabyte hard drive section from what? What are you buying computers from 2 years ago? Come on.
Don't get
Come
a
on.
Seagate, get a Western Digital. I don't really care that much about external hard drive
Also,
manufacturers.
mine are only Western Digital, so
Yeah.
there's that.
Yeah.
But you would definitely be like, no, get a solid state drive.
Oh my god. They're very expensive though, like depending on how much storage you need. If you need an 8 terabyte solid state drive, thousands of dollars. No, don't do
Yeah,
that.
but how great would that be?
Just get a platter.
Get a what?
A platter. That's a non-solid state drive. It's like a spinning disk.
Okay.
A slang term for it is a platter.
So a normal hard drive.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. The classic, what you would get.
Yeah.
So would most of your portable hard drives, like your Western Digital 2 terabytes, are those platters or are those solid states? Those are platters, aren't they?
yeah,
They're the ones
yeah.
that come in a little box.
If you can feel a vibration,
It's a platter.
it's a platter. Something spinning. Something is small and spinning in there. But yeah, like a flash drive is solid state. That's just...
Were this a podcast that we could take a chance on not getting sued by rights holders for music, I would throw some platters in right there.
Oh, nice.
Just to really round out the discussion.
Back in the day,
Yep.
we were rebels once.
I'm just saying, music is timeless. I'm reliving John Fogerty's Centerfield right now.
Wow. You mean in your brain or like on your iPhone?
Phone,
Okay.
car.
Okay.
Not quite the store, because I think it's a little too...
Classic?
yeah, thank you. That's a way better word than I was going to use.
Sure.
I appreciate that. That's great.
Timeless?
You know, it's also timeless.
What's that?
Free Comic Book Day. As in, I feel like that it
it's the opposite.
that
of
it,
that. In its name, it literally has a unit of time.
but I feel like it's existed my whole retail career.
It does feel that way. Yeah, I mean,
And my retail career, as yours, feels
timeless.
never ending.
Timeless. You and I both can remember the first Free Comic Book Day, and I will always mention this just because how my perception of Free Comic Day has changed over the years. The first one was very, oh my god, the chance to introduce so many different kinds of stories, which at the time was like 4.
4 books, yeah.
2 people who are going to come in and get a free comic. I made up little read these next sort of things. Like,
that's a great idea.
If you liked Ultimate Spider-Man, you're going to want to check out these books next. And made sure that everybody got the specific one devoted to their specific book. And then cut to 2022 where it's like, no one's going to read another one of these.
Take your books, get out.
No, like, not that. Like, I mean, this is something we'll get to in a minute, but like, Free Comic Book Day has kind of 2 specific goals now. And these are not one more than the other, just 2 separate goals. Be financially viable, and then kind of create a fun environment for people so they'll come back to the store. The third one originally was like, get them into reading comics regularly. Like, that never happened. Like, most publishers have given up on that idea. They'll do reprint stuff. They'll do kind of anthology-oriented things, but the idea of, like, this is chapter 1 of a multi-part story, no one's really doing that anymore because it doesn't really work out. I mean, Oni, I think, for years did new number 1s on Free Comic Book Day for brand new series. And then, aside from, like, Six Gun, they never worked.
Right.
Most of those books didn't even make it a year.
And they've tried. They've tried numerous times.
They have.
And they've tried with good books.
And now it's better just to do something like do a Rick and Morty book or something.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I mean, this year they did Jana, reprinted Jana.
Yeah, great. Do that. It's more economically viable, I think. Free Comic Book Day has happened. It's already happened. We recorded the last one right before Free Comic Book Day, and then it aired, essentially, during or after Free Comic Book Day.
After, yeah.
But this is the point where we can actually say it happened, and I think it went well. Customers will come in for a week after Free Comic Book Day, and they'll say, hey, how's Free Comic Book Day? And like a lot of questions, you don't want the real answer. You don't want me to sit here for 10 minutes and go into absolute detail. So at the store, I will usually just say, like, I hope people had a good time.
But we'll do that other part now.
On the podcast, yes, you'll get the full breakdown of it. But in the store, you're just going to get the kind of, I don't want to say blow-off answer, because I do genuinely mean it. Like, it is the thing that I most want to happen during Free Comic Book Days. I want the people who show up to have had a good time. That is the most valuable aspect of it, beyond at least breaking even, which we always manage to do on Free Comic Book Day. I want to drill
down into that and point out that it's particularly challenging to give people a good experience
we are challengers.
When it is nothing but chaos in the store, and
I don't know that it's chaos.
The store that they interact with is not the normal Challengers experience.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about that on the last episode, how the accommodations we have to make to host a Free Comic Book Day event with free comics and multiple creators and cosplayers and photo opportunities and all that sort of stuff, and more staffing, means that we have to kind of deconstruct the store to an extent to fit all that stuff. And that means that people are interacting with a store that is just on a layout basis not exactly what we want, and then crowded with people for most of the day. But I always hear from people that they had a good time. People who are showing up, who are checking out. You see people when they're coming in before they've even had a chance to experience anything. So for them, it's all potential. But I'm seeing people mostly right as they're about to leave. And
you see people who interact with the store most.
Right. Like people who've gotten their free books, who have gotten a sketch, who have maybe gotten an autograph from a creator, who have picked up some stuff, who are buying things, or sometimes just leaving. Whether that's a regular customer who's coming in, or a subscriber, or just someone who's brand new to the store, families, adults, kids, whatever. It does seem like they have a good time. We don't have to, with people, put out a lot of fires. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And I think that speaks to our ability to host an event like that and make it fun for people. and we'll say this a bunch of times through the episode, is mostly down to the people that we have helping us. Patrick and I are in two very specific parts of the store. Everybody else who's working with us is all over the place making sure everything else works. And they did a fantastic job this year.
I think that the one word I use most to describe this year's Free Comic Book Day, smooth.
It really was, yeah.
It ran like it was supposed to run.
Yeah.
There were
the one thing to me that sticks out about this Free Comic Book Day, and it's the most routine thing to say about Free Comic Book Day, but I'll say it anyway. We bought too many donuts.
Yeah, we do that every year.
But we buy less every year. How is
Yeah.
it still too many?
Yeah.
Last year, 3 dozen. This year, 2 dozen. Still had like 1.5 dozen left
Yeah.
over.
Well, most of the creators never want them.
No, that's true.
And now, since everybody gathers a little bit early, and everybody has coffee apps or Starbucks apps or Dunkin' apps on their phone, they all order their own stuff and run and get it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Super weird.
We talked about this last week. We always look at stores that have a parking lot or an alley or something they can block off and do stuff out front.
Yeah.
And we can never do that kind of stuff.
Yeah, stores in a freestanding spot or a
Yeah.
strip mall or something.
Yeah. I have ideas for next year.
Okay.
One of the things that we've always strived to do is have people signing and sketching who have a free comic book out that year.
Yeah.
We've always done that.
Yeah.
No one cares.
Yeah, there's definitely a few people that I know who brought stuff for Marici or for
Sure.
Norton, but it's relative to the amount of people showing up. It's a very small number. I think you can make the argument at this point that it is not doing those creators any favors.
Right. So one of my ideas is, what if we brought in somebody who we know would make it really fun for everybody, let them set up their own booth, sell their own stuff, but also with the caveat that they do free sketches for, as long as the day as they can.
Okay.
And then we still have like 1 or 2 local people to give them some rest or something.
Sure.
But I think there's a certain person who might really do well in that situation.
Yeah. I think that'd be worth a try.
But I mean, like as opposed to going out of our way to be like, who
from the gold roster? Or
yeah,
silver
exactly,
roster. Yeah,
exactly.
Sure.
Because, and here's the thing, we always overbuy those books, and we always have so many left of the people that we're signing. Even
Right.
though we hand them all out in line, even though people can get a sketch. Never forget the photograph of the Ryan Brown and Steve Lieber Image Dollar books from 4 years ago when they were signing for us, that Luke and Bert found them sitting in the trash outside the movie
Regal
theater.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, never forget that.
Yeah. Well,
So-
they were free.
Yeah, and handing out the flyer of all the upcoming events and things, we just do that to make ourselves feel better, but I don't know that a single person who came to the Ryan Brown signing this week came because they got a flyer that
No.
said it.
No.
And we gave out hundreds of flyers.
We did, yeah. Stuff like that, we don't do it all the time, but every few years it's like, oh, this is happening real soon. We should
Yeah.
definitely promote this. And yeah, I mean, it's
Remember last year where we all wore the Keep Reading Comics shirt and then handed out the QR code for the shirts, and we had the lowest interest in a t-shirt ever?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was the last time. Like, that was the year where we're like, we should start doing a second t-shirt every summer. And it's like, no, we shouldn't.
No, definitely not.
No. Well, like anything with challengers, Patrick, you do it one time and it works. You do a second time, it doesn't work.
But here's my next idea.
Well, I was going to say to the thing you were saying about the flyer and the promotional stuff. I think the problem is that kind of what Free Comic Book Day is very much like a day out for people. So a lot of the things that we would do to kind of specifically loop in the comics medium and the comics industry are wasted on people who kind of don't care.
Yeah.
You can hand them a list of like, here's creators that are going to be showing up. They don't care about creators. They don't care about creators who are there. They don't care about creators who are coming in.
I know, but
Like,
you hope
the idea
that
that people make comics is irrelevant to them. If you were to say, a celebrity is going to be here, sure. If you were to say, like, cosplayers are going to be here. Sure. If you were to say a Batmobile is going to be here, absolutely, they definitely show up. But you say, like, creators or a book launch or a book club or whatever, like, they don't care. It's irrelevant to them. It's not why they're there that day.
Yeah, but you're painting everybody with the same brush. What, like, even if we got
I'm saying
5% of the people,
that audience, like,
but still, we get some people who care. Club members come in.
we do, but we can already reach them. Like,
Not emotionally.
We're already sending them emails. We're already posting stuff in the store. Every single
We're already
subscriber
sending
who
them
got books
emails
in this
that
past
they
week
don't read.
got an email that had a list of their new books that also had in the first paragraph, hey, Ryan Brown's going to be here tomorrow.
Yeah, fair.
And that's on top of the weekly mailing list email. And
Also,
Yeah,
I want to
whatever.
point out that we're not in any way saying the Ryan Brown signing wasn't good. It was good.
But it's just not for the crowd that's coming for Free Comic Book Day.
But it wasn't like, oh, here's extra people or people we didn't expect to show up or people that we just saw on Saturday,
Yeah,
you know?
no.
It wasn't like that. It was a fine signing.
I hope he had a good time.
Sure. You talked to him. Did you ask him?
I didn't ask him. I just assumed he had a good time. He saw us. Why wouldn't it be a good
Of course.
time?
Of course. He got out of the house.
He did, it's true. On the fastest car service drop-off I've ever seen. Where he came from to where his car dropped
Oh,
him
yeah,
off
yes.
at?
From start to finish. I thought you meant like the car never stopped moving when he got out of it.
I don't know. Well, he got there before we did, so maybe.
No way,
Maybe
he should've
he
gotten there before
jumped
us.
out at a roll. Yeah, insane. Insane how fast he got from where he lived to where the store is.
No.
Oh, my God.
But anyway,
Anyway.
We're still talking about Free Comic Book
We
Day.
are.
And Free Comic Book Day wasn't just us, Dal. Other people were there. Okay, so it's the throes of Free Comic Book Day here at Challengers. It is the middle of the afternoon. It's 1 o'clock, 1:09 on Saturday, May 7th. And what we're doing right now is we are catching up with one of our all-time favorite people, someone who graciously donated hours of their time to be here today. It's Andrea Bell.
Hey!
Welcome back to the podcast, Andrea.
Thank you for having me here.
This is your, I think, third appearance?
I was trying to do the math on the way down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got like a mega, like we did like a 2-hour one that just the two of us like years ago.
Yeah, and that one is such a flash that I just remember like sketching and talking with everyone.
Right?
Yeah.
And then there was a Women's Comics Month one as
Yes.
well.
Yes.
Since you have been here last, things have blown up for you. We've got The Leak, the full-length graphic novel that you did. We've got Maker Comics doing a science experiment that you did, and you just signed a deal for a series of like true crime
Yeah.
podcast mental health graphic novel. Like,
Oh, yeah. That one is another middle grade graphic novel, and it's about a girl with social anxiety who gets invited to a murder mystery birthday party. So
nice.
very close to my heart.
Is that a single or is it?
It's
Is it a series? Like I thought it was like a couple volume.
It is right now a standalone, but
Okay,
it's possible that it could be more than one book.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
I may have misread the headline to the article, but I mean that is a ton of work in the last couple of years.
Yeah, it's like I
And-
was hibernating and then came out.
Just right, totally out of your shell. And you're
Yeah.
also a teacher now as well.
I am teaching. Yeah, I'm teaching a graphic novel class at Columbia College at the moment.
Columbia has such a great pedigree of instructors. Chris Eliopoulos, one of our favorite people, who did wonderful caricatures of Dal and I, as you have done in the past as well. So, how do you find the time to do all this now?
Probably not a really good work-life balance, but I'm trying to get better. The pandemic and everything was hard because you're inside, and even with Chicago, like we're getting our first day of sunshine in like 45
days, yeah.
Yeah. So it's like definitely a thing I'm trying to work on of like, hey, even if it's not nice outside, like I need to, or like even if you whatever is happening with COVID, like get out, like stop work. So I think to answer your question, I'm not sure, but I don't think it's very healthy what I'm doing at
All right.
the moment.
Because
Yeah.
there's literally just so much stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what I recently got? I was given your original art for the Yetiversary party flyer
Oh.
that you did
With
years
the
ago for...
with the one with the tattoo.
Yeah, which I have a
Oh.
tattoo of. Yeah, RJ Casey sent me the
Yeah.
original because he
Oh.
found it in Seattle, where he is, and so I own that now. I own.
That is
Not only do
so-
I have it on me, I have the actual original art.
I love that it's gone. It's traveled
Right?
around.
I feel
Yeah.
bad, like, because he's like, "Hey, do you want this?" And I thought, shouldn't Andy get that?
No, I would prefer you to have
All right,
that.
well, I
Yeah.
have it. I have it.
Good.
So the leak came out about a year ago.
Yes,
Okay.
March 2021.
Okay. And how long were you working on that?
Oh, I started that, like, I remember doing test pages for the leak in summer of 2018, and
Okay.
then things got solidified. I actually started drawing maybe October 2018, and finished drawing beginning of 2020 edits, and yeah, came out like a year later.
So
it's-
that's how the book market is. Most of the things that are coming out have been in the can for like a year.
a while.
Yeah.
Yeah. Every place is different. Like Maker, for instance, I started probably spring 2020 and had to finish art by the end of the year is a bit of a more expedited schedule.
We didn't even know you were doing that until we saw your name on the
Yeah.
the solicitation. Yeah, that just came out of nowhere.
Yeah, just like a secret pandemic project. Yeah.
Did you have to do the science experiments yourself to really visualize what was happening?
I did a couple myself, but Dershing, the writer, they did most of the science experiments, and I know their background is in biology, so it's
Yeah.
passion for them for sure.
That's great. I'm pretty sure we were introduced to you from RJ Casey, from Yeti Press back in
Yeah.
the day. And now your stuff is everywhere, and it's so great to see it.
That's so nice to hear.
And-
yeah, you get so much in a bubble, like when you're working from, yourself from
Sure.
home or studio. So
At least you have contact with students, so you feel like you do get out, you do get to socialize, you do get to interaction with people.
that's true. I have a web class with them, so it's a little.
Oh, okay,
yeah,
okay.
it's I had an in-person one last semester, so definitely that feeling. And now I'm like, I need to go out more. But hence the strife of every cartoonist, I suppose.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel that while you feel like you are alone when you're doing it, and you are physically alone when you're drawing, but you're not, because all of your artist friends are doing the exact same thing.
Yeah.
You're just not doing it together.
Yeah, and events like today, it's like what's totally worth it, like seeing someone in person picking up your book and talking to you about the artwork. That it makes it all worth it.
Due to the way this is set up, where I'm out in the inside Kicks area where the books are, and you're all the way in the other half of the store, how did it go?
It went great.
Yeah.
I was doing a lot of sketches, talking with new folks. It's always surprising. Like, I've lived in the neighborhood for 10 years at this point. There's
Sure.
always like new folks, obviously kids coming through, discovering you for the first time. So it's always really fun talking with people.
Is there any sketches, requests that you got that were characters you didn't know of, or anything that made you be like, oh, okay, like I heard someone ask for a space cat?
Yeah, that I was gonna say the space cat.
Okay.
I was like, okay, let's talk this through. So, and they seemed really happy with that one. And then some MMO character that I wasn't familiar with, but had
Okay.
a really cool costume on. I was happy to draw.
I'm so glad that it's no longer a thing where it's just Spider-Man, Wolverine, Batman.
Right? Yeah.
Like, did you even get any superhero requests?
I got one Wolverine, one Catwoman. But
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's such a different world where comic books and graphic novels mean anything, not just such a tight niche of characters.
Yes.
So yeah, this is amazing. Which, I mean, yourself, you are not I'm going to get on an X-Men book. You are I'm doing all this whole variety of genres, which is amazing.
Yeah, I recently was in the Transformers, the Beast Wars annual.
Oh, really?
So,
I don't think I knew that.
Yeah, I that one came out, I guess,
Within the last month or
ago.
so, yeah.
Yeah. So trying to like meld all of these universes.
Diversification, yeah,
Exactly,
of course. A
'cause
little bit of everything.
Yeah, and I started, RJ Casey Yeti Press. I started more on the indie side, and got some books with First Second. Now IDW. I like stomping down these traditional quote unquote like what we think of comics. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Now, comics are everything.
Comics are everything.
Yeah.
People don't even realize like how many like Netflix shows or movies and whatever start off as comics. I'm always telling my students, I'm like, your comic could be the next whatever.
Sure. And one of the things that we feel like we don't do a good enough job of at Challengers is knowing the upcoming talent. Knowing, like, we feel bad going to the same people for events like this, like yourself, and being, Andy, can you come out and draw a free comic book day? And we never want it to be a point where you're like, ugh, not again. We never want like anybody, and not like generically anybody. We don't want to be like, why did they always ask me? And it's harder to find new people, especially as we get older. We don't have our finger on the pulse of the new scene, but I feel like you do, not only because you are an active creator in an industry full of diverse creators, but because you're teaching the comic creators of tomorrow.
Well, firstly, I never feel like, oh, why are they contacting me again? Never feel that way. But
all right, it's now my goal to make you feel that way, so we're going to ask you for everything.
It's all. I mean, it. You know, keeping up with new artists. Yeah, it is a chore, and for chore in the sense of like. You're on social media when you should be doing something else. Maybe that's where I mostly find creators, and going to events like this, like maybe like a pop-up at a bar or something, or I'm going to like a live comics reading event tonight. Like,
oh wow,
yeah, just trying to
busy day for comics.
Yeah, well, just trying to stay active, because I got, like I said earlier, I got to get out more. And that's part of it, is just meeting new people. We've tried over the past couple years to develop relationships with newer talent, but there's some people that, like someone like Rachel Bard, who we love to death and will buy everything of theirs, is not someone we'd say like, hey, do you want to come sketch at an event like this? Because her talents are a whole different type of beast. And there's a few other people that we like, oh my God, this work is great, we would love to do stuff with you, but it's not. They're not ready for a live environment like this. And so there's a little something that Andy and I are working on behind the scenes to help expose a bunch of new people to, well, the store, to us, and to you, dear listener. And you'll hear more about that in weeks to come. But Andy, thank you so much for being here. It's always a pleasure to have you in the store. Where can people find your work online? Yeah, well, thank you for having me.
Always.
Online, I'm Andy Harvest on Instagram, and Andy Harvest, Twitter, AndreaBellDraws.com. Google, you'll find it. Google does its thing.
Perfect. Excellent. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Patrick.
At this point, I haven't decided if I'm going to run both interviews back to back or do one later. Mm-hmm. But if I did run them both back to back, this is pointless.
Okay.
However, I feel like we're just about at the end of our Free Comic Day discussion, so it'd be foolish to put somebody else later in the episode. Continuing our Free Comic Book Day coverage, we are now squirreled away in the back room with one of the Challengers All-Stars, as far as I'm concerned, Alex Rosado.
Hey, what's up, guys? Hey, thank you for having me.
Alex, I don't know what number Free Comic Book Day this is you've done with us.
I want to say +8.
I mean, this is during the week. My Facebook memories always pop up because Free Comic Day is always this week, and half the time you're one of the people that always come through for us. So
thank you very much. Always to have me here.
How did it go this year? Since I wasn't anywhere near you, how was your experience?
It was beautiful, and it was a real treat to see everybody and to start back up since quarantine.
This is kind of like a primer for getting back to shows and stuff, right?
Yes, it definitely has been.
Do you have any other cons on the schedule in the near future?
Pushing for C2E2.
Okay.
Love to be there.
Nice. That's a couple months away. This is a good trial run.
Yes. So definitely C2E2. I'm excited for it.
Do you feel like other people, like the people who were here, were excited to be out as well? And
you could tell, yes,
yeah.
I could. It was very cool to be here.
You are pretty quick with your art. You're a prolific creator.
Thank you.
You were doing a lot of sketches in your downtime and stuff too. Mm-hmm. I saw a couple of Moon Knights you did.
Yes.
Did anybody ask you for anything weird or something you had to like look up?
Just the Disney Encanto show, yeah.
At this point, do you feel you're doing like less superheroes than ever before and a whole bunch of other stuff like Disney characters?
Yes, I do feel the more non-traditional superheroes, but more of other characters like Disney and Netflix.
Nice. Mm-hmm. And when you are not doing anything you can to help us out, what are you working on?
If I'm not working on comics, I teach after-school arts during the week in Little Village.
Oh, nice.
And we actually are making comics.
Of course.
So that's pretty much my jam.
Nice. Mm-hmm. And my main question for you, Alex Rosado, is who is Alley Cat?
Okay, that's really cool. Alley Cat is an alter ego of mine. I'm an introvert. Alley Cat is an extrovert. He loves everybody. He's just very silly. Just think of loving lasagna like Garfield as well as Joe Cool Snoopy.
Nice.
Yeah.
And where can people find Alley Cat?
Everybody can find Alley Cat at AleroArt.com. All the links are there.
You want to spell that out?
Alero Art. ALEROART.com.
And that goes through all the different social platforms and
All
whatnot?
the social, yes.
And I'm pretty sure you've got 3D sculptures of
Yes.
Alley Cat
Yes.
and all sorts of other merch.
Yeah, he lives primarily on digital, on the interwebs, as they call it. And you could find him all there, Alley Cat.
Nice. Shirts,
Buttons,
yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
He's digital. He's on hats. He's on gym shoes now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's all on his. You'll see it in AleroArt.com.
Excellent. And during an average day, how much time do you think you spend drawing?
I want to say between 4 to 6
Nice.
hours. Yeah,
And that doesn't count when you're teaching, right?
that doesn't count when I'm teaching.
Yeah, yeah. And I feel like you're somebody who's probably always doodling,
Yes.
even at family gatherings or
Yeah. Nonstop.
yeah, right?
Yeah.
It shows. It is always a pleasure to have you here. You are one of the first people we always call, and we feel bad calling you all the time,
No, please don't.
but you are always welcome.
Thank you. It's family here. It's what is the Vin Diesel line in the
Man,
cars?
that
the
is
car
that
movies.
is definitely a question for Gina and Lizzie.
Yeah.
They love those movies
Yeah.
so much. Alex, best of luck in everything you do. I'm sure you'll be back here soon enough,
Yes.
and hopefully we'll all see you at C2E2.
Thank you very much. Thank you guys.
Happy Free Comic Book Day.
Happy Free Comic Book Day 2022.
Woo!
Woo, woo, woo.
Okay, fine. That's how we did it. There we did it. We did
Okay.
it. I posted this on the internets, but I want to reiterate to everyone listening how grateful we are to everybody who helped us that day.
Yeah.
From all of our regular staff to my family members to the cosplayers
Yep.
to the creators themselves.
Yep.
And foolishly, when I did my first big post, I'd forgotten to mention Mike and Michael and
Ooh.
Steph and Andy and Alex.
Oof.
And I was able to fix one of them, just add it in,
Yeah.
re-edit it, but the other one it had to be, here's the first comment is, and of course, let's not forget the creators. Yeah, I made a big deal of getting the names for every cosplayer, because a lot of them we don't know their actual names, we just know their stage names.
Yeah.
And it was just everybody did great. It was really, I was telling Gina this today, it was really great to see Lizzie using her other jobs, customer service skills in a way that I hadn't seen yet.
Yeah.
And there was a forcefulness and a sternness to her that doesn't necessarily come out on working on a Saturday.
Sure.
And I'm like, my God, this is great. Like, there was a point where she wasn't yelling, but she had to instruct George on a certain way to do a thing, like to not do a thing he was doing,
Okay.
and that twice.
Yeah.
And then she did it once to me, but much nicer. I'm like, no, this is great. More of this.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was good to see everybody not have to be told anything to do.
Yeah. Everybody knew their positions and knew what they needed to work on. And even Samantha, who we had to move around this year, was great and made me feel superfluous, which is awesome.
Sure.
I could kind of stop ringing people up to go help a customer and know that she had it well in hand, and then I could come back and just check my mail on my phone for a little bit or whatever while
And
she was ringing people up.
having Molly Jane on the floor to assist everybody who needs it, as well as to keep facing the store, which is a huge deal, in which he did like 90% of the time.
Oh, yeah. A lot of my Sundays in years past have been trying to fix all of the things that we couldn't fix Saturday night. And now, not only did I not have to do that solo because Molly Jane works with me on Sunday, she had done so much of it on Saturday that it was kind of, light dusting, basically, was what needed to be done on Sunday. Nothing, no huge things to change.
Previously, we didn't have anybody who took that role seriously
It's true.
on Free Comic Book Day.
That's true.
Yeah. Yeah, and it was, we didn't... Everybody who works at the store worked that day, but we usually have a couple of other previous challengers
Guest stars.
come in and help out, and while they're always willing to do so, two of them were unable to do this year because of scheduling.
Yeah. Doesn't always work out scheduling wise.
Sure. But we
I think this is the like once every 7 years where we would probably not have Donovan available
Yeah.
because of the way the calendar worked out.
Because exactly. And this just happened to be like there's years where Caitlin
Yeah.
got off of a flight from Japan and came
Yeah.
right to the store to work.
An international flight.
Yeah. Well, this year she was on a flight again.
Yeah.
But not going away, not coming.
Right.
So, but yeah, everybody did great, and the cosplayers are so good, and Alexis is so good at wrangling them, and it was always a competition between her and George, who was going to be more boisterous.
Wow.
It's like it wasn't stated; it just seemed
Right.
like it was that
They
way.
were just trying to one up each other.
Like just yeah, and it was great. And every time I went to do something, Alexis would say, "I already did that. I'm good at my job." Like, all right, it's my job too. And it doesn't matter how many times you tell people the rules, because they will always forget or not care or try to cheat or
Yeah.
whatever. There were some negative instances. I did have to throw one kid out for being incredibly rude.
Sure.
And my favorite question was a woman who got the speech outside and who was told all the free comic books are on the center rack in the middle of the room, came in and looked at me and said, "Where's the center rack?" I mean,
You're next to it.
it's this giant rack right here in the center.
Yeah, you're
It's,
right next
just
to
put the two words together.
it. Yeah.
I mean, that's even worse than where's the S section on your wall?
Yeah.
Where are the free comics? Right there. And I told Gina today that even if we had a lit neon sign flashing with an arrow pointing right down, people would still miss it.
Yep.
Maybe next year we could get two of those shelf talkers for the top and just have it say free comics on it.
Yeah, sure.
Well, I mean, we'll keep them, print them nice so we use them every year.
Of course.
But I mean, you didn't need that because there were 3 people in the room saying, it's these. And I was always the one on the end saying, not these children, you can't do that. But they'd already been told that on the way in.
Right.
We did have, like some people brought in very obtrusive strollers, which made it hard for people to walk around.
Sure.
So we'd have to be like, I know it doesn't look full, please hold people at the door.
Yeah.
Or there were times where, because George would poke his head in and do a quick count and then bring more people in. I'm like, hey, hold on. There's like 5 kids on that side you can't see because they're so small.
Sure.
But yeah, the guy with the stroller was kind of a jerk because everybody got this. Like one of the most important things we do is control the flow of traffic. You come in through Sidekicks and you go into the store. You can't come back from the store to Sidekicks because we've already accounted for you being gone and added more people.
Right.
We're trying to have a certain amount of people, but also keeping it socially distant and keeping the flow of traffic good. So this guy with the stroller comes into the room, stops, looks around for a little bit, then leaves. Then tries to come back in, and Liz and Gina are like, "No, you can't come back in. You have to go around." He's like, "What? I was just in there." I'm like, "Yeah, you have to go back around if you want to go back in." Well, I was told that I couldn't have any books from the end cap for children, so I thought that whole thing was the end cap, so I just walked straight through. You didn't. We all saw you stop.
We were all here.
We all saw. But at that point, Lizzie's like, "You know, go ahead, go back in, take what times you want, have a good time." I'm like, man, I would have been so in that guy's face.
Sure.
But she's like, nope. She's like, we're just gonna move it through, let it. And then he came back in, parked his stroller again, and took up way too much time.
Mm-hmm.
But at that point, the room was too full because of his stroller.
Sure.
But that's an example of where I would have been probably argumentative
Sure.
because you were told the rules, sure, you acknowledged the rules, but then you deliberately broke them, knowing you were breaking them.
Yep.
But anyway, that's two minor instances out of
Sure.
a 7-hour day.
There's always some annoyances.
Yeah,
You can't have that many people in a store on a day that has that many moving parts without there being a couple of things where it's like, oh, dang.
but that's just it. Like we can focus on those two because it's all there were.
Yeah.
Victor Ramirez came with his daughters again, so we have every year we have photos of me and his kids in
His
their
growing
cosplay.
children.
Yeah.
Big thank you to Josh Emmons for bringing pizza for
Oh,
everybody.
Josh! Oh my God! Thank you so much.
That was super sweet.
Josh used to bring pizza every free comic book day, but obviously stopped.
Sure.
pandemic and whatnot.
Yeah, I was not even expecting it.
No, not at all.
And it's nice because he got from Stop Along, and we had talked beforehand about like where we were going to get pizza. And I'm like, oh, we're going to get Stop Along, thinking like they're right around the corner.
Yeah.
And you're like, no, we'll get Sarpinos, and all I could think was like, oh, I kind of wanted Stop Along.
Yeah, well,
and then he brought Stop Along.
we were getting Sarpinos to mitigate the cost for how much we're going to buy.
I get it. That's why I didn't like. I wasn't
Also,
fighting on it.
Sarpinos is good. I wasn't asking you to eat dirt.
It is good. It's just I
didn't tell you to get Pizza
had
Hut.
Stop Along in a while, and I kind of want Stop Along soon.
Fine, we'll buy it tomorrow and bring it to the New Japan show. Yeah. So it'll be nice
so
and
it'll
cold.
be sitting in the back of a car for
Yeah.
45 minutes.
In the hot weather.
That'll keep it warm.
Yeah, that's what
That's
you
what
want.
delivery does.
83 when we left the store today.
Oh, golly. It is 88 degrees right now, according to
Yeah.
Steve Jobs' ghost.
It's back to that point at Challengers where it's just incredibly hot in the store.
It's
So
real uncomfortable.
here's something I want to try. Leaving the front, at least the front 3 window blinds down all the time overnight, so it's much harder to heat up in the morning.
Okay.
So I did it tonight. We'll see how it works.
Okay.
We'll see how long it takes to get over into the... Although it's supposed to be cooler tomorrow anyway.
Yeah. This whole next week is supposed to be like actual spring weather.
Well, next Friday and Saturday are going to be back to the high 80s.
Oh, Chicago.
So we'll see. But it's literally it went from wearing a coat to wearing a tank top. I mean, there's no...
No, it's Chicago. We only get like 3 non-consecutive spring days. Otherwise, it's just winter into summer.
Yeah, but it's such an adjustment. And even today, it's like, I don't want to do anything. And it wasn't even like sweat pouring down. It was only 83,
It's just uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It is too warm.
And you don't notice it. Like, you look over like, oh, wow, it's 80. Huh, that's okay. I didn't notice that. But as it keeps going, as you're a lobster in the pot that's boiling,
Yeah.
you start to get a little bit more tired about just life and the things you're doing.
Sure.
Definitely not looking forward to a heated summer.
No.
Molly said it was up to 88 yesterday.
Oh, god damn.
Yeah.
That's warm. It's
Yeah.
way too warm. Well, it may be worth an email to building maintenance just to be like, hey, like we do this every year. Come out and take a look at it. Send somebody else.
They're going to come out and take a look and say it's working fine. It just, you have a glass wall.
But there has to be a better solution to this because it's not just us. Like Black River.
No, theirs is broken.
Theirs is broken, but
Theirs is broken. Like
ours
doesn't turn on.
Ours puts out warm air at times of the day. I have been under the vent and been like, not only is this not cooling the store because of like the windows, I'm under a vent that's not even putting out cold air. It's putting out room temperature
You know
air.
that every single air conditioning repair person that's come out has never experienced that.
Eventually it will line up. The stars will align and they will come out and I'll be like, it's 2 p.m, stand under this vent, and they'll be like, that's warm air, I gotta figure this out. Like, we will get a good tech at some point. I think it's worth, at the very least, irritating our landlord every year in the same way that we're irritated every year when we find out that, it's still too hot.
I'm willing to pay for our own AC guy to come out and diagnose it, and then taking that to the building.
Okay.
And then saying, here's the problem, fix it.
Okay. I am fully behind that plan.
Okay, I need you to find an air conditioning person.
I wouldn't even know where to look.
The internet. Air conditioning repair. Jeez, how hard is that?
This sounds like one of those Home Depot things that you're better at than I am.
Also, I have yet to attempt to fixing the AT&T problem.
Okay.
Although I can tell you, AT&T called today looking for you. You know why?
No.
To give us some options for our fiber service and some upgrades we could do.
Oh my god. No.
Yeah.
They will get no extra business out of us as long as
They
we
did not
can't
get-
get the regular business to work right.
They did not get screamed at.
No.
Because I know they're just
They're just
cold
doing their
calling.
job. But they do. AT&T is stumping for more business now, and I don't understand their strategy other than like annoying us so badly that we burn
Right.
the store down, so they can't ever install any service ever again.
Hey, so we got a package in the mail yesterday, actually.
Okay.
It is a new product that a company wants us to try, and they gave us a bunch of free samples.
Okay.
And they are metal bookmarks with graphic designs on them.
Ooh.
And they gave us 8 free ones.
Okay.
And it's Spider-Man, Venom, Carnage, Batman,
Oh.
And then 2 Attack on Titans and 2 My Hero Academias.
Like officially licensed?
They have logos and stuff.
Okay, that's great.
Yeah, the superhero ones don't look officially licensed,
Oh, okay.
but the other ones have the logos and whatnot.
Okay.
So they're thick, they're heavy, they're in plastic bags.
Mm-hmm.
They are not barcoded,
No.
and I think they're neat.
Mm-hmm.
But I wonder how well could we sell like a $5 bookmark when we constantly give bookmarks away? And point number 2.
Okay, I have a thing for point number 1.
Yeah, go ahead. I'll do that.
I think it would be interesting to some people who are looking for just something cheap to get as a gift or something.
Yeah,
Like, essentially like all of the, like, plastic cups and magnets and expandable towels or whatever.
yeah, sure.
Like that stuff where they want something with a recognizable character on it for somebody and they don't want to spend a bunch of money.
You just gave me a great idea.
Okay.
What if we get more of those sticky hooks, and then put like the expandable towels on that spinner rack?
If it'll stick. I mean, that needs to be a strong adhesive because
Yeah,
it's...
but I mean, those have never not. We bought
Okay.
those before. We just are out of them,
Okay, sure.
and those towels are light
Okay, that's great.
because I think those would do way better. And also, it's getting harder to keep that thing full,
Yeah, uh-huh.
and so we can get rid of all
There
those
haven't been any new magnets in a while.
Venom tattoos. Well, we haven't placed an order.
Yeah, but I
But
mean,
I
a lot
mean,
of the magnets we got
You
from
mean
Diamond.
the puffy ones?
Yeah.
Well, we haven't looked back to see if we can get them. Or
Well, we would be looking in like new to order. We're looking for new designs, not old designs.
I mean, old designs never hurt if they're the classics.
I can't imagine Diamond stocks old designs.
I think you're right. I think you're definitely right about that. But where would we stock these bookmarks?
I mean, if we had the hang tags on them,
Yeah.
we could do just like a hook. Probably near the pins because I'd want to keep an eye
Sure.
on them, like next to where the lanyards are.
I thought
That
we could,
area?
like, you know, the blue bookmark holder we have.
Mm-hmm.
We could just like move that to the front and be like, hey, but it says for sale.
Yeah, and I wouldn't. I think too many people would
Think they're free.
confuse them.
Yeah.
They need to be in a separate section, but again, it needs to be a section that we can keep an eye on because they seem like they'd be very easy to steal.
So their SRP is high,
Okay.
but our cost is not.
Okay.
And
Wow, you mean it's a wholesaler who's actually giving us a good discount on
Right.
something instead of making us go over SRP?
but I went to their website, and the website only shows 4 designs.
Okay.
I mean, we got 8, so we know there's more. Also, they accidentally sent us 2 packages.
Okay.
One was addressed.
There are 2 of us.
Well, no, one was to Challengers Comics. One was to a different comic store name with our address.
Okay. Comic
Hey.
store name you recognized?
Yes.
Okay.
And I didn't think it was worth trying to readdress or deliver or whatever.
Sure.
So I thought, we can keep these.
Okay.
So we need to talk about price,
Okay.
which we'll do after this,
Sure.
and just figure out a display thing. But yeah, the hook thing is like where the lanyards are is fine.
Yeah, I think either if there's room in like the bag that they're in, you can just punch a hole. If there's not,
No.
then we get the
No,
hang
they're
tags and they
they're
go there.
exact. Some of the bags are flip over and sealed with like the double-sided tape. Some of them are just open at the top,
Okay.
but the hooks on the back would.
Okay.
And I could order those to Specialty Source Services and pick them up on Tuesday. That's where we get them from.
Sure. Okay. Yeah, it's probably worth doing just in general.
So they're just stacked behind the counter for now. I think like the superhero ones are fully painted ones,
Okay.
not like and they're like metal, not as thick as a metal ruler, but they're
I would assume
They're
they're thin enough to go between pages and not have the book get
sure
bent out of shape.
yeah. And their business card was also a little oblong of metal.
Neat.
But when you go to their website, it's all about binge reading these new novels, these new sci-fi novels.
Okay.
And it took me a little too long to find out where the bookmarks were because
Weird.
of like the drop downs. But anyway, also this is the best part. The letter that was enclosed was just printed out, generic, Dear Comic Shop owner,
Sure.
and also photocopied. And their cartridge was running out, so big sections of each paragraph were just faded out.
Okay.
Yet they still copied it and sent it out.
Huh.
And it was identical in both packages. So it wasn't like, oh, this one was just running out.
Nope.
No, you did that.
That's
It's
the
like
master copy.
it's like, okay, I can't read this.
Okay. That's not great.
Yeah. And I may have thrown their business card away. We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
We'll see if these first 16 sell.
Yeah, sure.
But I do like the idea of having it be gift ideas. They have a bunch of new floor mats available. And not only do we get the pyramid, hey, here's all the floor mats we have email, I got that same one personal to me because I've been talking to Paul about it.
Yeah. I like the floor mats. We just have no room for them.
Yeah.
And the amount we'd have to get, you'd have to get a display basically because they're so big. There's nowhere in the store for a display. There's just not.
Yeah.
If somebody who works at Challengers could figure out where it would go, where it wouldn't be in the way and we wouldn't have to get rid of something else.
On top of the...
Go for it.
No.
Like, every conceivable square foot of the store already has something in it that's making money for us. So I don't know where a thing that we don't even know if they would sell would go. It's very hard to figure out.
I wanted to say, not the square feet where Andrew stands.
Oof.
But that's not true. And he's doing law school finals right now, so he's very, very stressed and very overworked.
I hope they're going well. He did not sound super confident when I talked to him on Wednesday.
Yeah, but that was the first one. And the first one, that was his only closed book final.
Sure.
Because, as I said then, when you're practicing law, you can't look anything up. You just have to do it from what you have in your head.
Yes.
That explains a lot of our former attorney senators.
Uh-huh.
Well, we've got a few weeks off between signings.
We do, it's true.
Yeah, we'll talk more about the other ones later, but I do want to point out that not only do we have a shared exclusive 8 Billion Genies cover, I keep wanting to say curse words.
No.
Especially since it's a curse words homage cover.
It's true. It's the Vaniversary variant. Only the stores that participated in the Curse Words Van Tour a few years ago were invited to participate in a shared exclusive for 8 Billion Genies #1, and we were one of those stores. And
of
said
those
yes.
of those 12 Van Tour stores, only 5 of us chose to do this variant.
Yeah, I don't know if we talked about this. It's us, it's Third Eye, it's
Space Cadets, it's Vault of Midnight.
It's
that's why I didn't want to start mentioning them because I knew we'd forget one.
No, I had it and I lost it. It's another. We said Third Eye and we said Vault of Midnight and we said Space Cadets and we said Challengers. There's one. Oh crap! Whoops. Sorry, guys. It's a big store.
It's Jetpack.
Is it Jetpack?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
You're welcome.
You're welcome, Jetpack.
That's
that's how you're saying you're welcome to, right? Jetpack?
Exactly.
Yeah. Good job. But yeah,
good stores all around.
Yeah,
Happy to be part of it.
We're one of those stores you can pick up a signed by Ryan Brown copy of the Vaniversary variant of 8 Billion Genies #1 for $5 on our website right now.
Right now. And
for either delivery or in-store pickup.
While you're there, you can pre-order our Daniel Warren Johnson exclusive cover for Do a Powerbomb #1,
Yep.
featuring the Sriracha Muchacha Paloma Star, featuring Colt Boom Boom Cabana, and featuring the fallen angel Christopher Daniels. And for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, those are all 3 legitimate professional wrestlers who've held numerous championships worldwide.
Yep.
That is available on our website now, and it also has
$15.
$15.
If you pre-order it, you can choose, once again, local pickup. If you are local to Challengers, just want to come grab it when it's released on June 15th, or you can choose a shipping option. Shipping option obviously will not get shipped out until after June 15th, when we actually have the copies in hand.
And it may seem weird to be selling it now, but we know that this is going to be a big deal.
Yeah, and I think pre-ordering is something that we don't do a lot of. We'll accept pre-orders for stuff, and you'll get charged when it comes in. This is very much no, we would like it if you could pay us for it now. Which is...
Especially since we laid out...
whole bunch of change.
Yeah.
Whole bunch of dollar bills.
This week we paid Dan for the line art, and Mike Spicer for the color art, and Image for the plate fees, and yeah.
Yep. And but that is something you can pre-order right now. Hopefully people like the book. We've read the first couple issues and we really loved it. We're of course over the moon about how great our exclusive cover looks. Dan went above and beyond. He is a sweetheart.
You know what's a little bit annoying to me?
What's that?
The number of people that are raving about having read the first 3 issues. We've only read the first 2.
I was going to send Dan something tonight. Maybe I'll toss him a little hey, by the way, what's going on with that 3rd issue, guy?
Oh, good times. Hopefully good times is what you have every time you step foot into Challengers Comics and Conversation, regardless of how big our heads may be. And hopefully a good time is what you have just had. Thank you for listening.
And keep reading comics, you small heads.
This has been Contest of Challengers. Thanks for listening. Keep reading comics. Challengers is located at 1845 Northwestern Avenue in the Bucktown neighborhood of Chicago. 773-278-0155. Keep up to date with new releases and events at challengerscomics.com. Like Challengers Comics on Facebook, follow @Challengers on Twitter, and help fund this podcast at patreon.com/challengers.